Charlemagne,
Charlamagne, we live?
welcome to another edition of Let Me Finish, the Bad Boy Sports League, home of the greatest sports opinions in the world. Your main man, Jay Irvin. What's going on, Eric?
Ain't shit, man. You know what I mean? Baltimore Billy in the building, representing.
And Big J Marshall. What's going on, sir?
You know me, keeping it cool, you know,
Cool, not flashy.
you know.
Refreshed, renewed. Feeling light on your feet. Steve. Steve is back on the show, everyone.
Who?
He is still alive, since everyone was wondering.
Steve home like little Bootsy. I told y'all niggas.
I had to go ahead and forward that phone internet bill so you can get that back turned on so you can join us again.
Coming back like Jordan, huh? Coming back like Jordan.
I'm gonna tell you where I've been. For all of my Game of Thrones fans, my new moniker since I see Jason try to steal my green screen, Steve, I'm just gonna go now for Game of Blue. That's me.
That's dumb.
I'm not amused, Steve.
I mean, if you would have been on the show the last month and a half, you would have seen that I've had this up for like 4 or 5 weeks now. Like, they don't even mention it anymore. They're just used to it, right? We have like new segments in the show and everything else. Like, you'll see today. You'll see. We got new segments and everything.
I'm here to take my throne back.
What?
Did you ever vacate it, or did we just like move on without you?
What is this here?
I'll go with the latter.
Legitimate kingship.
The first topic we're talking about today, a couple coaching changes. Detroit Pistons decided to hire Stan Van Gundy, not only to be their head coach, but to also be their general manager. He will get $7 million for 5 years. $7 million a year, I should say, for 5 years. So a total of $35 million to be the Pistons coach and president of basketball operations. Now, Steve Kerr, on the other hand, we thought he was all going to the Knicks, decided that he was going to use his brain and go with the team that fired Mark Jackson, the Golden State Warriors. He accepted a 5-year, $25 million offer to be the coach of the Golden State Warriors. Guys, which was the better hire? Was the Golden State hiring Steve Kerr, or was the Detroit Pistons making Stan Van Gundy in charge of everything in Detroit? What do you guys think? And you have to pick one. Eric, what you think?
I mean, Detroit is a fucking dumpster fire. You know what I'm saying? And Golden State fired a winning coach. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, I guess I would go with Stan Van Gundy for the only fact that he gonna play out his contract, because whoever the owner is for Detroit don't like firing nobody, so he at least gonna play through his contract. He alright, man. He just wear his players out, man. They love him at first, and then they just don't like him towards the end.
Yeah, especially with that squad in Detroit, that team has no chemistry whatsoever.
Yeah, they don't have.
I mean, Brandon Jennings, Josh Smith, this is a mess.
It's a dumpster fire. Say it.
I guess. I mean, Steve Kerr has never been a head coach, so I don't know what to expect from that. And Stephen Curry and those guys, they still respect Mark Jackson. I don't know how that's going to go. So, by default, I'll give it to Stan Van Gundy.
I mean, I don't have no faith in Golden State, man, because, you going to fire a winning coach. Steve Kerr need to take note of that, so his job ain't too secure.
I mean, we don't even know.
Steve was on the show. I mean, the Warriors were still in the playoffs. So, Steve, what do you think about, the Warriors hiring Steve Kerr to be their next coach?
I actually like that. I mean, I don't know why they fired Mark Jackson, like Eric said, but you know what? Honestly, if I had to pick one, I'm gonna go with Stan Van Gundy. I think he's gonna get the most. I'm very familiar with what he does with his players from his years in Orlando, but I think he's gonna get the best out of one of the best big men coming up. In Andre Drummond. So I'm excited about that, especially if they let him have decisions of bringing in players.
I say Steve Kerr not just because of the fact that Golden State wanted a fresh start, but he's going to get a better team, so he's going to succeed early first. 2, he's a super nice guy. Like, he's not like a Stan Van Gundy is, who's going to push the players and whip the players and milk every ounce of energy out. I think the players will like him. I still think they'll have some type of resentment in their heart for Mark Jackson, but I think they will like him enough where they can bond around him and play for him. So I think Steve Kerr is probably the better hire because I don't think Stan Van Gundy can run an entire team. Like Stan Van Gundy has trouble enough with the general manager in Orlando. Now he's going to be both, so he's going to be basically the whole staff. Everyone's going to have to ingratiate themselves to him, and he can fire players now because he's a general manager. I just don't think that's going to work out well because Stan has a very short fuse when it comes to players. He'll throw a player under the bus in a second. I can't imagine what he'll do if he has the power to trade them. That's going to be ridiculous, don't you think, Eric?
But Steve Kerr, man, he out there in deep wood in the West, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no cakewalk out there in the West. So
I don't see him doing any better than Mark Jackson did.
Steve Kerr's gonna have to maximize all his potential with his team.
Mark Jackson did that. Mark Jackson
did that, right?
You see him talking to his guys in the huddle, like he got them to believe.
Do you have that favorite Steve Kerr? I
have the faith in Steve Kerr that he can ingratiate himself with the ownership and upper management, something that Mark Jackson couldn't do. So if he can coach at the same level as Mark Jackson could, I think it's a win for the Golden State Warriors.
He's never been a head coach before. We don't know if he can coach, so I don't even know.
Mark Jackson wasn't a head coach before he went to Golden State either.
He didn't get enough time. He got that same situation. Just 2 years in. Come on, I don't understand that. It's just as confusing as when Denver let George Karl go after you won coach a year.
It was more behind the scenes than just.
It had to be. It
was
star player Steph Curry came out and said, "I think Mark Jackson should be here next year."
There was no reason.
But to be honest, you can say Steve Kerr, but was Mark Jackson a coach before he became the Golden State Warriors coach? Did he come straight from announcing just like Steve Kerr did? Steve Kerr was executive of the year with the Phoenix Suns. Executive of the year.
That's not coaching though, bro.
But he still knows this basketball thing. Like, don't act like he's just nobody. He does know basketball.
You have to get the players to buy in. And the thing that's the difference between Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr is being an executive in the front office is different than bonding your players together like the type of player Mark Jackson was. Great point guards make really good coaches. Look at John Stockton about to go to the Jazz. They just know how to, mesh the whole team. I'm not sure if Steve Kerr is able to do that with that group.
Was Steve Kerr a point guard or
was he a Mark Jackson? Was he a great point
guard? You said point guard. Just saying.
I said great point guard.
He was marginal.
But now the NBA is about your assistant coaches. If they give him a good assistant coach staff, you can hire a defensive specialist and a coach that teaches offense, man.
To do a better job than what
all things being equal, he's not going to do as good of a job as Mark Jackson.
That's what I'm saying. Was able to push them further than what Mark Jackson pushed them.
If the roster's the same, he's not going to do the same thing.
But Steve Kerr wouldn't be the first head coach that was just a figurehead that didn't teach the game of basketball. He just stood out there.
But you guys, I think you guys are taking us. I don't think Golden State was hiring because of performance on the. It's clear they weren't hiring because of performance on the basketball court. Because if they were, they would have kept Mark Jackson. They don't care about that. They care about someone who's going to fit into what upper management and owners feel like is the vision for this team. And I think that's something Steve Kerr is going to do. He's not going to fight back. He's Steve Kerr.
Yeah, from that aspect, I understand what you're saying.
I'm just saying. Move on. Next thing we're talking about NFL draft. Steve, was the NFL still on last time you were on the show?
Shots.
I think so.
Shots.
I think it was a national championship game.
National championship game.
I think it was actually.
I'm back to take my throne.
CER, the Harrison twins, right? Yeah, that's when it was.
The 2014 draft was this last weekend. Number one pick was Jadeveon Clowney, who went number one to the Houston Texans, shocking absolutely no one. The big shock, though, was Johnny Manziel, not necessarily going to the Cleveland Browns, but the Cleveland Browns passing on him 3 times. They traded down from number 4. That was the first time they passed him. Didn't pick him at number 8. Decided to trade up to number 22 and get him, though. So they passed on him twice. Johnny Manziel went 22, and also Michael Sam was drafted late. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So, guys, who do you think were the winners, and did you have any major losers in this year's draft? Who did a really good job to you first? Go ahead, John.
I think a couple of teams actually stand out. I think St. Louis did a great job, actually.
Mm-hmm.
They got a guy like who they got, Greg Robinson with the second pick, one of the best tackles. I mean, starting with a tackle, offensive line is
He
crazy.
pancakes people
It's
too.
crazy
Like, it's
important.
cartoonish.
If I'm Sam Bradford, you gotta love that, and then to get a guy like Aaron Donaldson to package with Robert Quinn and Robert Long and Michael Brockers, that D line is set. And then they got Trey Mason in the later round, a nice running back out of Auburn. They got him in the second or third round. I think St. Louis did a pretty good job, and also I like Minnesota's pickup with Teddy Bridgewater, man. I believe in Teddy, and I think that's gonna be a good pickup for them, man. So I definitely say St. Louis and Minnesota got a good pick with the last pick.
Steven, who do you have with your best draft?
Are you really going to answer me that?
Yeah, seriously.
I love what my 49ers did. I mean,
What did you guys do?
let me finish. Even the fact that they just went out to get Stevie Johnson and to bring him in, I really believe he tweeted something out and said, we have 3 number ones: Stevie Johnson, Anquan Bolton, Michael Crabtree. You're just going to have to pick your. I mean,
number one. Steve Johnson was barely number one in Buffalo. Are you kidding me?
Doesn't matter.
Number one.
I really like we always
have 3 number 2s.
In Buffalo, he wasn't a number one.
Y'all have 3 number 2s, Steve.
That alone, I feel like tilts the balance in the NFC West. We're ranked
Buffalo.
No, we're ranked number 3. I think we always draft well, but that really stood out to me. Going out and grabbing Steve Johnson. It's just we're committed to our offense. So
Anquan Bolton's a number one now. Still,
he got a nice safety too.
He was a number 1 when he played for the Ravens.
3 years ago he was a number 1. Yes, he was.
Yeah, 3 number 3
years ago. 3 years ago
he played for the Ravens, and now he's a
3
number 3.
years ago you were regular on the show, but now you're an adjunct. I mean, time makes a difference.
Shout outs to Green Bay getting Ha Dixon too. Shout outs to them. Ha.
Oh, yeah. First of all, I want to talk about that. The Ravens, I don't know what the hell they were thinking not picking Ha Clinton Dix. I thought they should have picked him in a second. I just don't understand what they were thinking. I mean, I know they wanted depth at inside linebacker, but you definitely need that safety help, and Ha Clinton Dix would have been. I'm so pissed about that. Eric, who do you think had the best draft?
Actually, man, I'm telling you, I had a good draft, man. Actually, the Browns had a pretty decent draft.
Yeah. I started to say Cleveland as well. I like Cleveland.
I mean, Cleveland, they picked Johnny Manziel, and they turned around and got another first-round pick. Then they picked another cornerback, in Fuller, and then came back and got Manziel, and then they picked up the running back from Towson State in the 3rd round. He's definitely going to be a sleeper. He could definitely end up the starter in Cleveland.
And didn't they just give Joe Hayden an extension too, another extension?
Yeah.
Did he just get a new deal 2 years ago?
Yeah, he got $45 million guaranteed.
He just got a new deal. What the hell? Giving money out of Cleveland.
I can't knock Cleveland. I like what Atlanta did by showing up their left tackle. Matthews.
By showing up to the draft.
Yeah, Matthews definitely has pedigree as a top offensive lineman. He's gonna be their left tackle for 10 years. And then I even like what the Raiders did, picking Khalil Mack and then coming back and picking Carr. As their quarterback of the future. I think what the Texans did suck.
Thank you. I was just about to go there. That was going to be my pick for worst. Texans, I don't know.
I mean, you got Case Keenum and Tom Savage and another guy,
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
You had multiple chances to pick a quarterback above Tom Savage. And, I mean, are you kidding me? You had quarterbacks on the board. You could have picked. You could have traded up to get Bridgewater if you wanted.
They could have kept Shaw.
Yes, sir.
You could have traded up. But no. You sit there and you just wait and you get Savage. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney is a good pick, but will that win you a championship? I don't know.
If you were able to get Teddy Bridgewater and Clowney, that's a great draft.
It's a great draft.
That's a great draft.
I would have given all my other picks up to move up just to get Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Just to get him.
I don't know what they're thinking.
You have no quarterback. Case Keenum, I don't believe is going to be the answer for the Houston Texans. Skip Bayless may think that, but I don't see it. Case Keenum. No, I don't see it.
Should have took Johnny, but
Yeah, I believe. I agree with you, Eric. Browns had a very good draft. As skeptical as we were watching the draft, you texted me as soon as Cleveland traded out the 4th spot to the 8th spot, and they still didn't pick Manziel. You said this is why Cleveland will never be worth anything, and then they came back and redeemed themselves. So we gotta give them that credit. All right, time for Hot Roots. Oh, no, not Hot Roots, not yet. We got one more story. We got one more thing. I wish I could have skipped this story. The Indiana Pacers are
You don't
pitiful.
want to skip this. You don't want to skip
Article,
this.
Oh, here we go.
article on Bleacher Report said, how long can Indiana Pacers survive as the playoffs' most unpredictable team? They lost to Washington by an astounding amount of points the other night. 23 was the final, but they were down as much as 30. Wizards plus 39 edge in rebounds, as big as in any NBA game since the Knicks were plus 40 over the Hornets back in 1992. So this is a record that stood for 20 years, over 20 years. And they got to 30, and that's ridiculous. As you can see in the third quarter, they only scored 14 points, and this is terrible. They didn't score 20 until the fourth quarter. Roy Hibbert reverted back to his usual ways, I should say, of this year. 4 points in the game, 3 rebounds. Just reverting back to all of the terribleness that he displayed in these first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Guys, can the Pacers recover? Do they even have a chance? Saying they make it into the next round, if they don't, I mean, do they have a chance either way against Miami in the next round? John, defend your boys. They're my boys too. I'll take credit. My boys too. Go ahead.
I'm disappointed. That was disappointing. That was very disappointing last night. 3-1 at home, and you let Marcin Gortat just look like Tim Duncan out there. That was very disappointing. PG, the best two-way player in the league, didn't show up last night. Yeah, I said it. He didn't show up.
It's games like that.
You have games like that. This team, I think it's all mental with them, and that just shows a young team that's not ready for the big time at the moment. And I think they will close out tomorrow. And Miami's looking pretty tough right now. And at this point, I don't have that full confidence in saying that they can beat Miami, but I'm still sticking with my pick, but I just don't have that same confidence.
The fact that Frank Vogel gave them Monday off before this game because they were quote-unquote tired, and they still show up like this.
A championship team closes out. A championship team closes that game out at home. At least they don't lose like that, though. That's pretty bad.
Eric, I know you're salivating. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm just getting tired of keep talking about this big 7'2", 270-pound big bag of trash. You know what I mean? He scored 4 points and 2 boards and can't score on Marcin Gortat. You know what I'm saying? He made Marcin Gortat look like Arvydas Sabonis out there in his prime. You know what I'm saying? They're just terrible. It's sad though, man. You know what I mean? Actually, we talking about this yesterday on the phone. Looked up, they were up 3. Looked up again, Washington up 10. Looked up again, Washington up 29 in like 10-minute span. You know what I mean? And 47 rebounds to 15 boards at the beginning of the fourth quarter. It's just terrible, man. It's something internally wrong with that team.
I think the final number was 62 to 23 on the boards. 62 to 23.
And that's sad. You know what I'm saying? It's just, they made the Wizards look like champions, like you know what I mean? Like Wes Unseld was out there with him or something. You know what I mean?
Steve, Indiana Pacers, how do you feel about this terrible loss? Frank, do you blame Frank Vogel for any of this? Does he have anything to do with this in your opinion?
You know what? I don't know who I blame. I think there's enough blame to go around. Obviously, I cannot give Paul George just that status of a great player yet, or elite player that just will take his team and lift them above. Like we've seen LeBron do, we've seen Melo do sometimes. We've seen. I just haven't seen that defining.
We've seen Melo do something. When did we see Melo?
Stop it! Don't bring Melo up.
When did we see Melo?
Let me finish talking.
Playing this shit.
We're even watching Blake Griffin. Okay, Blake Griffin take his team above. But to the fact that they're losing and the way that they're losing, I don't even know how we can call. If I had to put the blame on one person, I'm going Paul George. You got to pick your team up. I'm going Paul George. So that's what I think.
Oh boy,
Eric, when you called me yesterday, I hadn't heard anything about the game. I didn't know what the score was. But as soon as you told me, I told you, I'm not surprised. I wasn't shocked when you told me. I was just like, dang, here we go again. This is what we expect. This is what I expect now from the second half of the season version of the Indiana Pacers. They They've been doing this the entire playoffs. They went 7 games with a team that was 6 games below 500.
So who would you put the blame on then?
I got to put the blame on all the players collectively. I really don't know where to start. I mean, you could start with Frank Vogel, you could start with Paul George, but every single player on that team is just playing like they have absolutely all the time in the world. They don't have to worry about, winning a 7th game or whatever like that. They can coast in, they can rely on their talent, and it just seems like they play when they have to play. I've been saying this for 2 months. They play when they have to play.
The players got to take responsibility. They got to take responsibility.
Yeah. All they wanted was the #1 seed, it seems like. Once they got the number.
They play when they got to play. Yeah. I mean, look how it was in that last series against Atlanta. They were down 3-2. What did they do Game 6? Come back. Kill them. What did they do Game 7? Come back.
They got to do things the difficult way.
When their back is against the wall, this is when they respond. If it's not against the wall, they're not going to play.
They're such a tease. They're a tease. They're a tease.
I will say this though, and I know I'm a Miami Heat fan, but if they drop a game at home against Miami, it's over. You know what I mean? They can't lose 2 and 3 games at home.
They can't afford to have any mental letdowns again. They can't. They got to show up each and every night, and they haven't shown us that. That's the issue.
I mean, they struggle. Like Jason said, they struggling against Atlanta. Atlanta beat them at home twice by 29-30. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Eric was talking to me about Roy Hibbert. I told him that I honestly would trade Roy Hibbert for any decent point guard, including Patty Mills. At this point,
Patty's solid.
Not only do I want Roy Hibbert gone, I want that bum George Hill gone. I want both my point guard and my center gone. Like, I would trade them for anybody. The only player I won't trade him for, like Eric said, was Gennaro Pargo. That's the only player that I wouldn't trade him for.
He said he traded him for Ricky Rubio. I was like, damn.
I'm done.
I would agree. I'm over that. Yeah.
If I was Indiana, I'm cutting Roy Hibbert. I might go over the damn salary cap, but I'm throwing my money at Greg Monroe.
John,
I don't care. I'll throw my money at Greg Monroe. I don't care.
Hey John, but he wouldn't take Kendrick Perkins and Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, I wouldn't take Kendrick Perkins
I would take Reggie Jackson. I would take Reggie Jackson.
I'm not trading a bump for a book.
I would take Reggie Jackson.
I'd take Kendrick Perkins.
That's 6 fouls. That's just 6 fouls. That's all that is.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I think Roy Hibbert's the type of player that he's not like a LaMarcus Aldridge or a Kevin Love, like a big man. He has to be in a system. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying he's a system player. He's not like one of those other players.
When you're 7'2", I would think you can at least find a couple rebounds. You can find a couple garbage bags. You're not even finding that.
Yeah, that's true. He's not even getting rebounds.
You're 7'2". You can just stumble upon a couple rebounds.
All you have to do in the NBA is touch the ball, and they consider that a rebound. You know what I'm saying? A tip is a rebound.
He's real awkward. He's always been awkward. He's
a big 7'2", 270-pound bag of trash.
Real awkward.
Hot roots. But, things that are, making waves in the world. Of sports news, Michael Sam was drafted by St. Louis Rams in the 7th round. He said, quote, "I knew I was going to get picked somewhere. Every team that passed me, I was thinking, how am I going to sack their quarterback? I personally, me, Jay Irvin, decided not to post a picture of them kissing because I've seen it too many times on ESPN. I really don't care to see it again. We'll talk about that in a minute. But, guys, how do you feel about Michael Sam slipping all the way to the 7th round? Was this because he's gay, or was it because of his football skill set that he has displayed? Steve, what do you think about Michael Sam getting drafted in the 7th round?
Honestly, I think it really has to do with his skill set. Like, I think teams were, and I think what was not said, one of the reasons why Johnny Manziel dropped so far is because people just didn't want to have to deal with the media frenzy. I think it had to do with both with Michael Sam's, like his skill set, and what type of media frenzy you're going to get on a regular basis. And I think they just didn't want that to detract. But I still think he's going to make a great contribution. I thought it was great, and I'm happy for him.
Eric, I know you were tired of seeing the kiss on television on ESPN. But how do you feel about Michael Sam getting drafted? Was it because of his skill set, or was it because he came out and announced that he was gay?
I actually look at it like this, man. He was the co-defensive player of the year in best football league conference in the country. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they were picking people in front of him that went to Mars College and, you know what I mean, Buffalo State. You know what I mean?
His own teammate went in the early second round, like his own other defensive end.
His teammate actually is better than him, but
right. And that's why a lot of people say that's why he got the recognition that he did, is because his teammate took so much of the attention away from his side of the field.
But still, man, I think it just happens to be because he came out because he was gay. And I don't have nothing against gay people, man, but I did have a problem with him tonguing his homeboy down on TV, national TV like that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. He had to.
He said he told him
like that.
He said he told him in the locker room.
He
said he told him in the locker room.
No, I said tonguing his homeboy down on the camera when he got drafted like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the kiss heard around the world.
Yeah, that was kind of I mean, it's one thing to people accepting what you are, but it's another to throw it in their face. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I didn't mind the first kiss, but then after that cupcake,
I didn't see that. What was the cupcake?
He turned him down, homie.
He smeared the cupcakes on his boyfriend's face, and
I didn't see
I didn't see all that either.
Yeah, he tongued him down. He watched the whole thing. He tongued him down, man. I mean, that's just it, man. Like I said, I don't have a problem with nobody being gay, man. But sometimes that's what people have a problem with, you throwing it in their face like that.
I'll answer the question. Thinking of football, I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, if any time a player wins the Defensive Player of the Year, they're not going to get 7 spots away from Mr. Irrelevant.
Right.
I mean, I think if he was Mr. Irrelevant, it would have been perfect because he would have got all the attention of being Mr. Irrelevant. And plus, he would have been like you said.
Even if he had a bad combine and pro days, worst comes to worst, he'll drop to a 4th-round pick or something. He was the SEC co-defensive player of the year. That's not happening. That's never.
And the other co-defensive player of the year went to us in the 1st round, so that's what kind of makes it seem
exactly. It's like, come on. Like, we know what it is. It's no secret.
But you know what? Honestly, I really don't think so. I really don't.
Keep it real, Steve. Come on. Come on. He's a co-defensive player in the SEC.
I thought about that too, but I mean, if I hadn't actually watched some of his tapes, I think a lot of it did have to do with skill set.
To Steve's point, he's a tweener. He's not strong enough a NFL defensive end, quote unquote. And he's not fast enough to be a linebacker. It's displayed by his 40 times that he put on at the combine. I mean, so to Steve's point, I mean, he didn't measure well at the times he was supposed to.
We've seen guys flopping combines, and they still get the benefit of the doubt.
But do you spend a draft pick on those guys?
These guys will drop down from a 2nd to a 4th round. There'll be a 4th round pick instead of a 2nd round pick.
He was never slated as 2nd, or he was slated from 5th to 7th. They drafted it up.
Pretty much anything beyond the 4th or the 5th round, they playing special teams anyway.
Exactly. He was going to play special. My point is, he was going to play special teams anyway. So why not draft him with your last pick? I mean, it's not like he was going to get drafted and start on the line for the St. Louis Rams. No, he was always going to be a special teamer, especially for at least the first couple years.
He wouldn't be a 7th round pick if he never came out. That's what I think.
So where do you think he would have?
Long snapper. That's all.
Where do you think he would have went if he hadn't come out then?
If he hadn't come out, I would say he actually would have went 4th or 5th.
To be honest with you, man, other than me seeing them play later in the year, I never even heard of him. I mean, I
never heard of him either.
The couple games that I saw him play in Missouri, he never made an impact. They lost.
That's what I'm saying. And that's the SEC. If he's defensive player of the year in the SEC, you should know who this guy is.
All right. Moving on. Thanks, guys, for keeping that conversation of football. Hot Roots. Another hot root. We're going to talk about Donald Sterling again. Steve hasn't had the chance to talk about this guy yet, so we'll get his opinion on him. But Donald Sterling went on Anderson Cooper. Basically saying Magic Johnson should be ashamed of himself for having HIV. Basically asking, what has Magic done? Quote, can you tell me, Big Magic Johnson, what has he done? He got AIDS. Did he do any business? Did he help anybody in South LA? I think he should go into the background. And what does he do for black people? He hasn't done anything. He continued, here's a man, I don't know if I should say this, he acts so holy. He made love with every girl in every city in America, and he had AIDS. And when he had those AIDS, I went to my synagogue and I prayed for him. I hoped he could live and be well. I didn't criticize him. I could have. Is he an example for children? Because he has money, he's able to treat himself. But Magic Johnson is irrelevant in this thing. He didn't do anything harmful to anybody, and I respect him, and I admire everything that he does. I'd like to help even more if he would offer me an opportunity to help. I like to help minorities, end quote.
Yo.
Magic Johnson was offended, of course, went on Anderson Cooper. The next night, I don't know what the hell does Anderson Cooper have to do with any of this. Like, why don't they go on ESPN? We have committed thousands and thousands of jobs in urban America. Those people can walk to their jobs talking about minorities and take care of their families because of Starbucks, 24-hour fitness, on and on and on. The Magic Johnson Theaters. I continue to do good work in urban America. I'm devoted. My whole life is devoted to urban America. I just wish he, talking about Sterling, knew the facts when he's talking. But he's a man who's upset and he's reaching. He's reaching. He's trying to find something that he can grab onto to help him save his team, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Also, Adam Silver, sent Magic Johnson an apology on behalf of the NBA. Magic Johnson said he didn't have to do it, but Adam Silver said he did it anyway just because he was so embarrassed by the things that Donald Sterling's continuing to say. Eric, what do you think about Sterling's latest comments? I know you wanted to talk about this one.
I just really think that he's a straight up racist. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we talked about it yesterday. I would have more respect for him if he just came out and said, "Yo, I said it," and deal with it. You know what I'm saying? He makes himself look better. Oh, I prayed for him. Like, oh, because I'm white and he's black, I prayed for him. Like, now he's cured. You know what I'm saying? He's just a terrible man. He's a racist. He's a bigot. You know what I'm saying? He wants to. Oh yeah, I did things for black people, but don't bring them to the games. You know what I'm saying? He has a team full of black athletes, but you can't sit in the stadium. You can't sit in the arena and watch his team. You know what I mean?
I had a big problem with the way Anderson Cooper just let him talk and didn't because we talked about this yesterday. He didn't know anything about Magic Johnson to even rebut against anything that he was saying.
That's why he chose Anderson. And that guy, man, he wasn't going to hit him with no hard question. You know what I'm saying? That's why they chose him. He wasn't going to hit him with the real questions and the hard questions.
John, Skip on First Take today, Skip Bayless said that he said while he is racist, this is basically jealousy speaking out, along with the racism because he's jealous of Magic Johnson, being in the picture with someone that he quote unquote loves, who is Stiviano. Do you buy into any of that, or do you think it's just plain and simple he's a racist?
He's a racist, and it's clear he's jealous of black guys. We are.
But for what? He's a billionaire. You know what I'm saying?
But Stiviano likes Magic Johnson. She admires him.
She looks like a transsexual.
He's jealous of black guys, obviously, right? That's his issue. He needs to come to terms with it, But if you want to know how to damage your public persona when it's already damaged, this is it. He disrespected Magic, the HIV and AIDS, those who, in that community, those are two things right there that really just rub me the wrong way. And I just don't know. He just needs to shut up. He just needs to go away. He's looking bad. He's looking so bad.
Steve, what you think?
He said he has those AIDS. Who said what?
Those
AIDS.
I
think he's just like one of those older men whose mind is just I'm not gonna lie. I talked to some friends about it, and I do think he got a bad deal because his privacy was just. Even for the way that she went about recording it, I didn't think that was right, but. I think the truth just comes to the light. People have said for years, there's been so many people that have come out, Baron Davis, Elgin Baylor, plaintiffs that were in the housing community just saying that this is how he is. Everybody knows Donald Sterling is like this. So I just think it's interesting that everybody is making such a big deal about it. I think it should be noted that the NAACP was about to give him a second Lifetime Achievement Award. I thought that was very interesting. He clearly doesn't know anything about the black struggle.
Why do you think he's going to get that? Because he's a billionaire.
Exactly.
Got that money.
That's why I think it's very interesting that everybody's turning on what they know this man to be already.
And Magic Johnson said that he can't pay his way out of this one, talking about this whole mess that he's in right now, like he's done so previously before. So Magic definitely not letting up on him, said that he's very disappointed and sick about what he said. But Donald Sterling, that's one guy that will be taught in PR classes until the end of time of things not to do.
That's bad.
Roger Mason Jr. Still talking about the same situation, talking about if the owner's vote, is not handled by the start of next season, I don't see how we're playing basketball, talking about the players. I was just in the locker room with LeBron, and at the end of the day, we have leaders. We have player reps. We've got executive committee members, leaders of teams, and they're all saying the same thing. Quote, if this man is still in place, we ain't playing. Guys, how do you feel about this statement? He has come back and said that LeBron is not the one who's, quote-unquote, leading this revolt or leading this boycott or whatever. But some players obviously are thinking this. How do you feel about the players, boycotting down the line next season if Sterling is still not, out of the NBA?
Honestly, I don't have a problem with it. Like the NBA has locked out twice in the past 20 years for things that were serious, issues that were serious, but nothing that came close to anything like this. I mean, this is a terrible, this is a world game now, and if you're racist towards, what's the number? Some staggering number, 73% of your league that is black people. What are you going to be when, a Middle Eastern comes in, or a South American? It has to be dealt with, and it has to be completely cut off. So I'm fine with it.
Eric, you shaking your head?
I'm gonna go the totally opposite way with this, and the reason I'm going to do this is because the NBA players took this bullshit deal that they're in now that they're crying about when they were getting locked out and they wasn't getting their paychecks for a couple of weeks and they were crying. Do you actually think they're going to sit out games and not get paid for Donald Sterling? These niggas got bills. You know what I'm saying? Seeing as they miss a couple Bentley payments or some child support checks come up missing, they're gonna be crying about we going to play. You know, I'm just being real with you.
You're right. Tell that to the 10th man on the bench, right?
I'm keeping it 100 with you. Come on, man. Think about it. Think back when they were locked out and these players were crying, talking about y'all need to sign the deal. We want our money. We want to play for our money, and they took that bad deal. You know what I'm saying? So what you think they're gonna do now? I mean, I'm being honest with you. I'm all about the upliftment and black power and all of this. You know what I'm saying? But once them players start missing a couple paychecks, LeBron can sit out the whole season. Kevin Durant can sit out the whole season. The max players can sit out the whole season. But like John said, to play on this temple on the bench, you know what I'm saying? That got 4 kids, and you know what I mean.
They're gonna be out there.
I disagree with that, man. I think if they take a deal like that and allow something like this, then who knows how far it could go next time. If they know they got the players by the balls like that, then they can say I might get away with something like that.
I truly understand what you're saying, Steve, but you have to remember back when they were locked out, when they were crying. Everybody said that deal that they took was the worst deal ever. You know what I'm saying? Hey. So what do you actually think these players are going to miss paycheck after paycheck?
They're not sitting out.
They're not going to do that, man. I'm just being honest with you.
Breaking news.
It all sounds nice now. It all sounds nice now, but when it comes down the pipe, we're going to see how much they do.
Breaking news right now. On the East Coast, it is now my birthday, so I just want to take my bow. Thank you guys. Thanks for a happy birthday. I appreciate it.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. It's 12 midnight on the East Coast, so happy May 15th, J-Day to everybody. Moving on. Time for new segment, Steve, that you were not here for. It's called Who Am I? I will give you a set of clues, and you have to guess.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't even down with that.
Is.
I got this right last week, right?
Yeah.
John is the first winner of the Who Am I sweepstakes.
Flava Methodico.
Flava Methodico was the winner last week. All right, here are the clues. Second round pick in 1998. He averaged 16 points in his career, played for 4 teams, most notably for the Houston Rockets. He was traded in 2004 for Tracy McGrady. Also played in Los Angeles, where he averaged 14 points per game, and he retired in 2008. Who am I talking about?
That's Cuttino Mobley.
Boom! Eric got it right off.
You were on that.
Wait, it's open, so it's open to everybody.
Yeah, it's open to everybody.
You got that one. The Cat Mobley. Have you seen him recently? That was
easy because they traded Steve Francis and Cuttino Mobley.
Yep.
Have you seen him recently? He has a bunch of gray.
Yeah, he's a little grayed out.
He got a heart
It's a good look though. It's a good look though.
He got a real bad heart condition. They said that's why he really stopped playing.
Yeah, that's why he retired. Yep.
Okay.
Because he had a trade to the Knicks too as well. All All right, guys, time for the timeout round. First up in the timeout round, we have stupider problem. You guys have to vote on which problem is stupider. Is it Greg Hardy's charges that he's facing, an assault charge on his female in his life? A woman is accusing him of throwing her on a couch covered with guns and making threats to her. Is that stupider than Josh Gordon, who is facing a year-long suspension for a positive drug test? He tested positive for marijuana, which is his second time under the NFL program getting caught. Last year, he was suspended for 2 games and docked an additional 2-game game checks for a similar misstep. Guys, which one is the stupider problem? Is it Greg Hardy or is it Josh Gordon? Who you got?
I'm going with Josh Gordon. I mean, it's Greg Hardy. It's very stupid, but I'm going with Josh Gordon for one reason. Take away the positive drug test and suspension for marijuana. I mean, I just think it's stupid to me. It's like suspending them for being drunk. You know, like this is something that he didn't do anything harmful. He's not shooting. He's not killing. Take away, and he's very exciting. So yeah, I think this is very stupid.
I mean, he did break a rule, didn't he, Eric?
I'm going with Greg Hardy. You dumbass idiot.
It is dumb. It is dumb.
You're going to get all your guns together and then throw your girl on the couch on top of the guns and wonder why she calling the police on. Man, niggas do. You can't give niggas money, boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear. It's clear Josh Gordon. I mean, something's wrong. He has an issue. He needs to get help. But Greg Hardy, Greg Hardy's just stripping. I can't condone that. That's crazy.
That's just dumb. You actually got all your guns out, wherever they were.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Laid them on the couch and then got your girl and threw her out of the guns.
That's stupid. Yeah, he's asking for trouble. He's asking for
some stupid shit right there.
Yeah.
That's dumb. I mean, what Josh Gordon said. I mean, what Josh Gordon did is dumb too. That's
stupid. All right, next topic. New destination. It's word out on the street that Texans wide receiver Andre Johnson is not sure if Houston is the place for him. Basically saying he's tired of rebuilding. He's been here for a very long time. He's only been to the playoffs 3 times in his career. Only had 3 winning seasons, he said. And he doesn't know if he can, go through another spat of rebuilding. So, guys, which team should reach out to Andre Johnson, and which team should he go to? John, what you think?
That's a good question. How about Seattle?
Nah.
Ooh.
I got
Seattle. I mean, he'd be a nice possession receiver. They have Percy Harvin, add a little quickness. They lost Golden Tate. I think Andre will be a good addition to Seattle.
I didn't even think Seattle. That's a good pick.
I was thinking about this. I got 2 spots. I think he'd be nice down there with J-Boy, A-Rod in Green Bay. Or
he would be nice.
Or New England.
I was thinking New England. That was my pick. I would say New England, but yeah, I didn't think about Green Bay either. That's a good fit as well. They could definitely use a receiver right now.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say I would love to see him in Green Bay, but I would also like to see him in Carolina. I think he's a big target that would be able to fit into that Ron Rivera scheme down there with Cam Newton. But I like Green Bay.
Since they got rid of all their damn receivers anyway, they could use one too, right?
Yep.
He ain't gonna have nothing else to work with down there. They gonna triple team him in Carolina.
All right. Next up, we got young stars. Talking baseball, 2 stars right now that are carrying the league. It seems like Mike Trout and Yasiel Puig. Which one would you take if you were starting a team to be your franchise player? John, who you going with, Puig or Trout?
Wow. I'm intrigued by Puig and what he brings to the table, but I got to go with Trout, man. I think I trust him a little more, actually. I definitely do trust Trout. Trout's a big boy. He produces. I can't deny what he brings. Puig is exciting, but, I mean, I just don't know how consistent he's going to bring. Can I trust him on a daily basis? I don't think I can.
I'm gonna speak on this. I'm going with Puig. Are you kidding me? This guy sells tickets. Who is Trout doing?
Mike Trout sold tickets.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win with Trout.
What has Trout won? What is he? Has he got the playoffs?
I mean, shit. The main reason I ain't fucking with Trout is Puig. That nigga got the Mexican drug cartel like the hell. Ain't fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? And then he's from the Dominican Republic. You really don't know how old he is. You know what I'm saying? He's probably like 35.
Here we go.
You don't really know how old he is. They printing birth certificates down at the 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying? I'm going with Mike Trout, man. Trout been putting up numbers ever since he came to the league, though.
Here we go. Steve, who you going with, Trout or Puig?
Man, without a doubt, Trout. I think he's a safe bet. Yeah, I think it's a safe bet. I think Puig, honestly, I think Puig is a fad. I think he's going to go the way of like
a fad? Are you kidding me?
I think Puig is nice though.
I'm not sure.
Great season.
Now I tell you this. I will be truthful with you. I was sleeping on J Boy, but they need if you would have put your boy from Miami down there, I'd have took your boy from Miami.
Who's Stanton?
Yeah, Giancarlo Stanton. We all know he's a superstar.
Yeah.
He's a beast. He's a beast.
He's a beast.
All right, and the moment we've all been waiting for, the return of Worse Luck.
Yeah.
Is our man in the Hall of Fame yet? Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Clinton Portis again.
He has to be in the Hall of Fame.
Try to see if he can try to see if he can get it this week.
How many times does he have to do with the He has to make
The champion.
When can he make the Hall of Fame? We gotta put him in the Hall of
He
Fame.
in the Hall of Fame.
What happened?
The champion
We gotta put him in the Hall of Fame after this.
Champion this week's going up in a triple tag match. I'm sorry, not a triple tag.
For somebody to beat him, you got to put somebody in the G-string.
Just put Clinton in the Hall of Fame if he wins.
You can put my man Stevie Franchise. I've seen a couple pictures of Stevie Franchise.
Not this though. Not this.
For this week,
He got on stretch pants and slippery Earls.
You gotta put him in the Hall of Fame.
Challenger number 1, Martin Gortat, who has decided to shave his underarms. He's going to be wearing shaved underarms, he said, this entire postseason. And he wants to feel clean and refreshed. So Martin Gortat's challenger number 1. Challenger number 2 last night was Shaquille O'Neal. If you guys didn't see Shaq last night,
I mean that's Shaq. That's Shaq.
He decided to rock Craig Sager t-shirt with the slippery Earls and some nice shorts. And he even had a sock inside of those shorts. And he took the sock out, put it on top of Sean Charles Barkley's head towards the end of that. So guys, does Clinton Portis survive another week, or will Shaq take the crown?
Shaq got on the big Devo shoes too, yo. The big Devo.
Put my man Clinton in the Hall of Fame.
Put
my man Clinton in the Hall of Fame tonight. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Son, Clinton got him.
Can we enshrine him tonight?
You guys are killing me. Like this Shaq outfit is not being Clinton Portis.
That's Shaq.
Yo,
that's
look what he has on.
Jay. Clinton Portis got on leggings with slippery Earls, son.
We've seen Clinton Portis in a wig before. Like we've seen Clinton Portis before
that
too.
Outfit though, he has on tights.
We've seen Clinton Portis in a dress. We've seen him in a dress.
Yo.
Remember he used to dress up in Washington?
Put that man in the Hall of Fame.
Yo, he got on leggings and slippery Earls.
Put my man in the Hall of Fame, Jay.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, look at that.
Put him in the Hall of Fame. He's in there.
Yeah.
He's first ballot.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
He's done. He's done. He retires. Like, just retire that.
Retire that.
Oh my goodness.
There's nothing gonna beat that unless you find
the category is now named the
G-string on, yo. That's
Award.
all, yo. I'm telling you, ain't nothing beating that, yo.
He's defeated the likes of Paul George. He's defeated the likes of Russell Westbrook.
He beat
LeBron
Bill
Cosby, Bill Cosby,
Tough competition.
Rex Ryan. He's beating person to person.
Wade.
Yeah.
He in the Hall of Fame. So.
All right, it's now named the Clinton Portis Worst Look Award of the week. So next time we have it,
you need to name this portion of the show after him, yo.
That's what I said. Clinton Portis Worst Look Award. You guys got any shout outs?
Wow.
No?
Yeah, I got a shout out. Anybody in the Baltimore area, I'll probably announce it every week that I'm back to get my throne. Anybody in the Baltimore area on July 12th, come and join us for our 4th annual clothing drive. You get to see
definitely go out support.
So yeah, that's what it is. If anybody wants to come to me, talk to me about any advice, basketball advice, I'm already here. I'm here.
What about personal advice? Can I come to you for personal advice? Can I come to you?
Of course.
Shout out to my boys, the Miami Heat, for making Eastern Conference Finals.
That's right. Yeah, again, Eric.
4 years in a row. Repeat on deck. You know how we doing it.
Shout Shout outs to the season of 10-day contracts in the playoffs. Shout outs to that.
Why are you hating? Why are you mad? Because of Paul George? You mad because of Paul George, or you mad because of the Sixers? Which one is it? Don't hate on me. Don't hate.
You know, Jason signed this contract last week.
I did not sign my contract. I did not. I asked for a friend. I did not sign the contract.
I saw the text message. Welcome, brother.
But I would like to reiterate that I am rooting for the Indiana Pacers, even though they suck. I'm praying for them. Shout out to my new favorite player in the league, Stephen Curry. Keep doing your thing, boy. Hopefully you like your new coach, Steve Kerr. And, yeah, we're moving on. Shout out to Kobe next year. He's coming back to claim MVP of the league and back to the finals.
What's the name? I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah. I mean, you haven't been on the show for 4 weeks, so no one else is talking about him except for us. So, you know, not that good.
Well, welcome back, Steven.
More shade. More shade. The Miami Heat team is still looking for people. Right, Eric?
You brought a darker.
Steve, don't your membership expire at the end of the season now?
At the end of the season, yeah, I'm restricted free agent. I'm restricted.
You're going back to the Magic, right?
I'm restricted free agent. I'm gonna talk to Melo. We'll see where we're gonna go.
You're gonna talk to Melo. Like he'll lead you to a title. That's right.
For Eric, for Steve, for John, it's been another edition. Let me finish.
And for Paul George.